Hillary Clinton has announced she's ready to come out of the woods. Mrs. Clinton's remarks at a recent St. Patrick's Day rally referred to the fact that she has spent a good deal of time walking in the forests near her ex-urban home in Chappaqua, New York, ever since her surprising and humiliating and crushing and well-deserved and humiliating and sort of hilarious and totally humiliating defeat by Donald Trump in her bid to become the first utterly corrupt female president of the United States. In the wake of that election, disappointed Democrats have reportedly been taking pilgrimages to Chappaqua in hopes of catching sight of the reclusive Mrs. Clinton in the woods. The Democrats, who had been absolutely certain Mrs. Clinton was going to win the election, hiked into the forests where they were absolutely certain they would see elves, fairies, and unicorns, as well as a socialist system that works. Those who have seen Mrs. Clinton in the woods report that the defeated, humiliated, disgraced, and humiliated former candidate for dishonest president spent her time in the forests pulling thorns from the hooves of wounded deer, learning the art of song from the twittering birds, and teaching hawks how to make that loud, piercing, screeching noise when they descend from on high to shred and devour their prey. The Woodland Democrats say they have returned from their Clinton pilgrimage inspired to build a wall around the forest to protect Mrs. Clinton's natural habitat and ensure she can escape to re-enter politics. But Mrs. Clinton says she has now healed the emotional wounds she suffered during her humiliating and crushing and humiliation and also defeat, which was very humiliating. Mrs. Clinton says she now wants to return to a life of service to the country, though she's not yet certain whose life that will be and how she can get hold of it. But Mrs. Clinton's wounds from her unprecedented and humiliating defeat have not just been emotional and humiliating, they've also been financial, not to mention humiliating. Shortly after Mrs. Clinton lost her bid to become the first soulless female communist president, donations to the Clinton Foundation reportedly dried up as donors realized the humiliated candidate would no longer be able to sell her political influence for cash since she had no political influence after her humiliating defeat. However, word that Mrs. Clinton would be returning to public life could change all that, as Democrats can be expected to rally around her, calling for her to once more enter the political fray and lead them to disaster. That should fill the gap until her daughter Chelsea is ready to enter political life and lead Democrats to a whole new generation of humiliation and defeat. Meanwhile, back in the woods, visitors have reported seeing squirrels, deer, and raccoons gathered in forest groves to drink champagne and smoke celebratory cigars. As one chipmunk told reporters, quote, "We thought she'd never leave. That screeching hawk noise she made was absolutely hellish," unquote. Democrats have formed a committee to see if the chipmunk should run for president. Trigger warning, I'm Andrew Klavan, and this is The Andrew Klavan Show.